Introduce you to the greatest late-night combat sports show bar none. You are now in the Beatdown.
You wanna get beat down?
Let us now introduce you to your host, the Badger, and
What's going on, family? It's 11 p.m. East Coast time, and it's time for the best late night combat sports show, bar none. You're in the Beatdown. My name is Brew. This is the Badger. Man, did you wash your shirt?
What happened? What I do to it?
I'm just messing with you. Welcome, bro. What's going on?
Can't call it, brother. Here for
What's-
therapy, man. It's been a pretty good week so far. Busy week, but I'm happy to be in this space at this particular moment. So I'm ready to get into it. We got
Cool. What we got on TV tonight?
that would be Guardians of the Galaxy. Good old Rocket and Groot right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Listen, you know what we got. Saturday night, baby. Saturday night. That's what it's all about right now. It's going to be, listen, you're hearing all these things coming out. I'm hearing all these things coming out about what's going to happen after Saturday. So Dana White says that if Cormier beats Stipe, he's going to offer him a bucket of money for a trilogy with John Jones.
Who said this?
Dana White.
Oh, who's interested in watching that? And listen, I'm not saying it.
Well, there won't be a heavyweight division, so
yeah, and I'm not, and listen, I want to make something very clear. I think the role of Daniel Cormier as a fighter. So
Yeah.
this is not in any way disrespect him, but he get beat again. He lose John Jones 9 out of 10 times. Or 9 out of 10. That's being generous.
he said straight up earlier. Now he hasn't responded to what I heard by Dana White, but he had already said he had no interest in fighting John Jones again.
Yeah,
He
for
made
sure.
it clear John Jones beat him twice.
Yeah.
It hurt him, but he's gotten over it. And he's going on to carve out his own legacy as one of the best UFC fighters in history.
Yeah, and listen, we made fun of Cormier for crying and all those things, but he's a guy that wears it, it meant the world to him, and it didn't go his way. But what he did was he kept his axe to the grindstone, as the old folks say, and he knew his legacy was already cemented, and now he's going to come out clean on the other side. I mean, he'll never be John Jones, but people are going to always mention him as one of the greats to ever do it in MMA, so he deserves it.
Listen, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I don't know an athlete who has played the sport because they loved it, who did not cry one time, either on the outside or on the inside, when they put their all into something and they came up short. I don't know one.
Good evening, Pops. Yeah, listen, I will let you know as soon as it's on the way. I got you. Hey, listen, I like Pops is a man of his conviction. He is going to tell me about his hat, and I'm with it. And because I am a man of my convictions as well, I got to make that happen. So
He says you're a man of your conviction. I say he really wants to say you're getting on his GD nerves, but that's okay.
no, man, me and Pops go back. I vibe with Pops a long way, so we ain't got to worry about that.
I gotta be honest. My dad is one of the coolest cats on the planet.
He is, man. He speak my Spanish. He speak my Spanish, so I'm with him.
I give him a hard time. He's one of the coolest guys. If I ever had to go into an area where I may fear going in, I never really fear going in anywhere with him. I have partners who called themselves hard, who went to the gym every day, who were versed in all kinds of martial arts. He's the only person I would walk into any situation with and feel like I'm all right. So even at his age now. So I appreciate him for all he's done in my life. This ain't Father's Day, but it should be, because every day is Father's Day if you got a father who's in your life. Wow. Didn't mean to go there, but that's where my heart was.
Nah, and listen, Pops from that old school generation. You don't know what he got. He might have a Hawk Bill on him, might have a 38 snub nose. Ain't no telling. He just listen, and
You
that's why
know
you
him
don't.
well.
Yeah, and that's why you don't care about going to battle with him because you know he's gonna be ready whatever the situation calls for. So I'm with you. I'm
This
with you. I get it. I understand.
bro, he used to have a light blue van, right? That van was notorious in Baltimore, from Baltimore all the way up to Harford County. He used to have, I can say this because he didn't have it anymore. He used to have a street sweeper. Not what you're probably thinking, but it was a sawed off. Not that
Yeah,
long. It was
yeah,
not that long, bro.
yeah, for sure.
He listen. He was gonna clear everything in front of him.
Clear it out. Clear it out.
But I'm gonna tell you, as much he gave me an appreciation for people that most people either fear or turn their nose up at.
Yeah.
Because he hung with everybody. You could be homeless, you could be rich. He even hung with some white supremacists. So I'm telling you, that's why I really don't fear anybody because he taught me at an early age people have to eat to live. And if you hit them in the right spot, they die. So there's no need to fear anybody because they're human just like you.
For sure.
I appreciate that. Um, Dad, we were talking
Yeah,
about
Cormier Jones. Cormier's
Cormier
legacy.
Jones. I wouldn't listen. I ain't gonna lie. If they fought again, I'd watch it. But I don't think it would get the build up simply be now if he wipes Stipe Miocic, like if it's a first round TKO or just a complete beatdown, I think you can sell that fight with him and Jones.
I mean,
Now, again, I agree with you. 9.5 times out of 10, Jones is gonna win. Maybe even 10 times out of 10, but it's the buildup.
yeah.
That's what people buy. They buy the buildup.
And listen, Cormier is a marketable guy because one thing he is an everyday guy. He is a couch guy. He is a guy that you see in Publix or Home Depot. He doesn't look like a physically imposing guy until he gets in there and they close that cage and he beats the living hell out of whoever his opposition is. And yes, I also watch this because I respect Cormier that much, and I know John Jones is the GOAT. So I would also watch. But aside from that, they got to fight on Saturday. That's what we're talking about right now. So
And listen, Cormier, talking about the fight on Saturday, Cormier is one of the most dangerous men you'll ever find because he looks so unassuming. He just looks like a dad who used to be in shape, but he's in incredible shape.
yeah, I mean, he gives all the fat boys hope. I mean,
Yeah,
this guy cardio is through the roof,
yeah.
and he eat Twinkies.
And he's been balding for years. So I mean, he's been my
Right,
hero.
he ain't had hair since he
Yeah,
was 18. So
right,
it's like, yeah, I'm with it, man. I like everything about Cormier.
right. He just looks like he's like that cheese sauce on French fries with a burger and a beer and a soda type of guy. Just
Yeah, and look, at the end of the day, he's a Southern guy from Louisiana. So he works hard and scrabble for everything to get. I respect him, man. I just want to see a great fight. And listen, not to take anything from Stipe. I think Stipe is dope too. I think Stipe
yeah.
is
But he looks like a fighter.
yeah,
Steve
Stipe,
looks
yeah,
like
Stipe like
an
he'll move some
MMA
furniture.
fighter. Right.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
he was
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, he would headbutt you just to say good morning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So hey,
Yeah.
shout out to Ivan. Appreciate that comment, man.
Hey, TNK Promotions, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for the
Oh,
compliment,
that's
bro.
Jesus.
For sure, for sure.
My bad, Tito. My bad. You see, you gotta use Tito, bro.
I mean, I know you got a vision problem, so I ain't gonna hold it against you, bro.
What is
It's all
he?
good.
He doesn't remind me of a Jesus.
That's okay, but you couldn't see it
Tito,
anyway.
because he's
It's all
so
right.
cool. When he talks to you,
He
he's
is a
like,
cool dude. He's
yeah,
smooth as hell. Now,
he is. Yeah, yeah.
he got a little sauce on him, so I get it.
And
But
he'll tell you in a heartbeat, he got to find. I haven't met her, but he'll tell you, I got to find black wife. And I'm like,
I mean, listen, he's mixed.
he is.
Yeah, I think Puerto Rican and black.
Yeah,
Either way, that's my guy, man. So shout out to him at
he's
TNK
cool
Promotions, man.
cool as the
Hopefully we
other
get to
side
work
of
with
the
them.
pillow.
Hopefully get to work with them guys pretty soon. But yeah. So what I'm thinking about Saturday is, and we don't really do predictions.
No,
Um, I think Stipe has to come and bring the fight right away. I
Okay,
don't think Stipe can afford to wait.
I was gonna say you give me what Stipe needs to win, and I'll give you what.
Yeah, I think Stipe needs to bring the fight to Cormier. I think he needs to keep the fight standing as much as he can. And I think he needs to invest in the bank early, leg kicks and body shots early. I think that Cormier is a better all around fighter.
You dealing with Stipe?
No. I know, but I'm just saying. I think Cormier is a better all around fighter, but there are areas where I think Stipe has an advantage on his feet, right? Punching down, literally punching down. That is an advantage. I also think that Stipe, I think he wears punishment a little bit better than Daniel. So I'm not going to panic if it turns into a firefight early. As a matter of fact, if it does, I think that favors Stipe. But yeah, this fight does not need to go on the ground at all. I know Stipe isn't working hard in his wrestling, but he's not going to be. You can't be at Daniel Cormier's level this late in your career. If you weren't at this level at your wrestling career when you first got into the UFC, if you didn't have the type of pedigree that he had coming out of Oklahoma State and then the Olympics and then Strike Force, you're behind 8 ball. So we're not even going to try to wrestle, right? Wrestling defense, try to keep him from taking you down, but keep the fight standing, make it a fight early, gives Stipe the best chance to win, in my humble opinion.
Wow.
Oh, Lord.
Hey, Lazarus, what you doing, Lazarus?
Hey, what's going on, Vanessa?
Nessa.
Good to see you, girl. Good to see you.
Hey, Nessa. I agree with you with Stipe. Now, with Daniel Cormier, I also believe he needs to go to the body. He's a shorter fighter. It's natural for him to be able to dig that body, especially if Stipe's punching down. He's a wrestler, so we have natural bend at the knees. So he can really get in there and work the body. Yeah, he needs to take him down. He needs to take him down. He needs to put that weight on him. He needs to wear him out. He needs to go for submissions. Even if you're not trying to get him, go for submissions. So he has to defend that. Go for submissions that don't wear your tank out. Rear naked chokes, Kimuras, stuff that he has to spend more energy defending than you do applying. Elbows to the face, elbows to the throat, elbows to the chin. You get on top and wear him out. Work his body when you're on the ground. Elbows to the sternum. That's what I don't understand what MMA guys don't do in that ground and pound anymore. They don't do those easy, quick elbows to the sternum. Each time you hit somebody there, you're going to expel air from somewhere, but it means it's not going to be in the lungs where they need it. I do believe he can stay on the feet with Stipe, but he's got to be the aggressor. Stipe is going to come at him. When he comes at you, you had a great game plan in the first fight. Stipe didn't expect you to come out and do what you did. You need to be very aggressive, punch with bad intentions. If you can work a jab, but that's not your strong point, get in there and work the body, use your elbows, use your back fist, take him down. Really work your collection of skills. I mean, this is your last go-round according to you. So let it all hang out. Use every skill you have. Taking him down, beating him up, make him work to stand up. When he stands up, don't let him turn you against the cage. Slide out, get yourself free, punch for a while, take him down again once he's comfortable back on his feet. Make him have to use that energy. I don't think we're going to get the 100% Stipe in this fight. We've already had this debate, but it's going to be interesting to see who we get. And even if we get a 75% Stipe, it's going to beat every other heavyweight, but not Daniel Cormier.
What I'm also looking forward to seeing in this fight is what the guys weigh in at tomorrow. Daniel Cormier was not ready for those body shots in the last fight, and he was starting to gas too around round 4, definitely going to round 5. He was tired, mouth open, hands dropping, not moving his feet, stationary target. Stipe worked the body, and we saw what the outcome was of that. Daniel Cormier needs to come in this fight lighter. Stipe needs to come in this fight heavier. I think the last fight, what did Stipe weigh? Do we know? I think it was 230,
something like that.
230.
They
How
weren't far
tall?
apart in weight.
How tall is Stipe? 6'4", 6'3",
Six,
6'4"?
6'3", 6'4", about 6'4", 6'4".
Okay. He's coming in about 250. I don't know what his walk around weight is, but I don't think he should come in light.
I think that's a bad move, but okay.
I think Cormier needs to come in light. Cormier needs to come in under 240. He can be himself, but he needs to be quick and he needs to be in shape. Because what we know from the last fight, Stipe can take those punches. He can take them. First fight, the punch he didn't see put him to sleep. I thought it was an elbow. When you watch it in super slow motion, it was a nice right. It was just a short right. Looked like an elbow from the angle that he showed it initially when he turned it over, but it was a straight right.
It was very technically perfect.
I mean, not straight. It was like a chopping, almost coming down hook, but it looked like an elbow the way he threw it. But it was really the hook. The fist is what. With that being said, I think, like I said, I think Stipe wears damage well. I think that's just built in his DNA. That's who he is. He takes punishment well, which is why I'm okay with it being a firefight early. If Daniel comes in heavy, I think he tires. I think he tires again around round 4 or 5. And if Stipe's, if he's able to take whatever Cormier throws at him up to that point, the longer the fight goes, it definitely favors him.
And that's something I forgot to mention. Daniel Cormier throws some devastating leg kicks, and he checks kicks very well, which he did not do really in the second fight. If he checks those kicks by Stipe and he's the first to start delivering them, you take Stipe's lead leg out, he's got nothing to really push off on and stabilize on when he throws those punches. He's not going to be able to walk you down and throw body punches. He didn't throw technically correct body punches. They landed. So,
and you know what the good thing about this is, bro? What we already know, guess what? They're heavyweights.
yeah.
So it don't take much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But look, they land. If you learn how to block those, I mean, hopefully, Daniel Cormier is a creature of habit, but he's also one of those adaptive guys. He's very good about learning from his mistakes. And then people say, no, he didn't. He lost to John Jones, but he didn't lose in the same way. He did lose, but not the same. Cormier he's a thinking fighter. So I honestly believe if he's able to just work on a little bit of defense, if he's going to get in there and mix it up with him and throw those leg kicks, makes Stipe realize you can't just keep coming straight in.
Here's the thing. We know how smart Cormier is. We listen to him call fights. The guy's a savant. He, a guy that's invested as much of his life in the combat sports as he has to be a genius at this stuff. So the fight IQ for Daniel Cormier is off the charts. Stipe knows how to fight. Stipe tends to fight, to me, looks a little more instinctual. Like he just fights. It's not so much, you don't see a lot of IQ in there, but then again, I'm not a professional fighter, so maybe I'm missing some of the nuance there. Whereas with Cormier, I have more of an affinity for his fight IQ because I listen to him call a lot of fights too. I've listened to him train guys before, so he presents that different type of element to it.
He showed a lot of fight IQ when he fought Francis Ngannou because he couldn't bully Francis Ngannou. So he had to figure out a way how he was going to beat this kid. And to me, that's when he showed the most of all the fights I've seen him in. That's where he thought the most and actually fought a strategy the most.
I give you that. I give you that. But I also would tell you this. How good is Francis Ngannou again? As far as being an all-around fighter.
Oh, I get that. I get that.
So, I mean, if we watch enough.
He could slap you and knock you out. So
yeah.
He had to be smart. He couldn't bully him like he was used to. He had to actually move around.
And listen, I'm with you on that, but here's the part that you forgetting, bro. When you're a limited fighter and I'm a smart fighter, then nothing that you're going to do is going to be able to work. Francis Ngannou, and in this particular fight that we're talking about, was definitely exposed for his lack of all-around skill. Mm-hmm. If all you got is a right hand, you're in trouble.
Well, he also had a left. He just couldn't land either of
them. Okay. Yeah. Well, again, and listen, and we like Ngannou. We think he's dynamite, right? He's good for the sport because people want to see knockouts. But when you're in there with elite guys on the level of a Cormier, on the level of a Stipe, come on, man, you got to come up more than that. You got to be ready.
Yeah.
You got to be ready.
Good point, David.
And shout out to Mr. Dave Bowser. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yes, he is. Yeah. Look, his legacy is cemented.
Yeah.
Win, lose, or draw. He's one of the greatest to ever do it, and he will get that respect. Check this out though, bro. Let's before we continue to dig on this, there's another fight that's just as intriguing on this card that we didn't talk about. Streak, however you pronounce his name, against JDS. We haven't talked about that fight. And that's a good, I think styles make fights.
Yes.
That's going to be a good fight because Rosenstruck was, if I'm not mistaken, a kickboxing champ.
Yes.
And JDS is good on his feet boxing. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Now I'm sure JDS also has some jiu-jitsu. I'm sure he can do something on his back too. But that makes that, to me, that's gonna be a fire fight. I see that fight being on his feet, and I see them boys throwing punches. And in that particular fight, we're gonna see a polished kickboxer against a polished boxer, or at least by MMA standards, probably the best heavyweight boxer striker in MMA. So I'm looking forward to that one, bro. I'm looking forward to that one.
I wouldn't go as far as saying the best heavyweight striker in MMA, but I get what you're saying.
You seen JDS throw his hands?
Yeah.
You see how he keep his hands up?
Yeah.
He looks like a. Okay, I'm just saying he looks like he could box.
Yeah.
He ain't walking in there with his hands down. He ain't throwing looping punch. His fundamentals of boxing look pretty good, but I'll give you that much. You know, it's we can't disrespect some of those guys out there, but I like that fight stylistically. If you're Rosenstruck, you got to stay on your feet. You got to stay on your feet and try to box. Because if he takes you down, I don't know how good he is on his back, but probably not very good.
No. But hey, you got to get him on his back.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's gonna be a good fight either way you go. It's gonna be a really good fight, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. Look, damn it, Dana White.
I know, right?
He keep pulling out these cards like it's like he out of Trump's. No, he's not. No pun intended. No, he's not. He's got more, right? So it's a pretty good. It's a good fight card. Hardcore MMA fans are gonna love this fight card. Casuals are really just tuning in for the main event. But I guarantee, if you watch the opening bout and the co-main and the main, you won't be disappointed.
It's gonna be a good one. Shout out to my beautiful friend, Jessica. Thank you. I miss you too.
Appreciate the love. Appreciate the love. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You're right, dog. We mentioned that before. The casuals are going to tune in for that main event,
right?
And it's one of the few times in the UFC recently where the main event can carry the entire card.
Yeah, bro. Heavyweights, man. Heavyweights always sell the tickets, bro. Always, man.
They're gonna have to ride this one out because you're not gonna have this.
Listen, we keep bringing it up, and I don't think the people out there really hear us. This heavyweight division is well, I tell you what.
It's weak.
The heavyweight division is going to be what the UFC is as a collective. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of parity, right? On any given night, you got guys pretty much going to win. You got your John Jones, you got your Khabibs, you got guys that, barring some big mishap, these guys are going to win. But in MMA in general, in the UFC, there's a lot of parity. There's a lot of guys that can rise and fall at any moment. Mm-hmm. That's what we're going to see when these two gentlemen ride off into the sunset after Saturday night. None of the heavyweights that are coming up behind these two, I don't think there's anybody that we can say without a doubt that are going to take over that mantle and ride it out. I don't see that kind of dominance at that weight class.
Right. I mean, it would be honestly, you could be a mediocre heavyweight and challenge for the heavyweight championship soon. I mean, it's just going to be, to me, that watered down. And they're going to seem good because they're not really having any competition. So Ngannou is going to be one of your favorites to win the title. You've got a couple other ones that are there. They're trying to build up now, but he's going to be the name in the heavyweight division. Couldn't beat any of the other two guys. There's no way he would have beaten Cormier. No way. Like Cormier said, I'd have worn him out on the ground. I'm not going to stand up with that dude.
Absolutely, I agree.
Stipe already showed it was an easy fight for him.
Exactly.
And Ngannou hasn't shown me much growth since
And
then.
that's my only hang up with him, bro. I want to jump on board because I love the knockout power. I love that thrill of one punch can end the fight. And
Mhm.
I know that's cliche, and that's usually the way it is with most
But
heavyweights.
it's
But no, with
exciting.
him, yeah, and with him, it's just so devastating. Like he
Yeah.
don't just knock guys down, right? And they be dazed. They be out.
Yeah.
Lights on, but ain't nobody home. So I want to get on that hype train, but man, he's got to show me something else too. I just can't. I can't ride with that.
I don't know what he's going to show you because that's all. He needs to work on his cardio, and he needs something more. He needs to work on his boxing skill, his defense, his being able to cut off the ring. He's not going to be able to. Not everybody's going to run for you because they're scared of that power, like the last dude did, who backed into the fence and got slapped to sleep.
Yeah, Rosenstruck. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yep.
And he's back on this card.
Yep.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Ah,
We'll touch back up on this show before we end. Up on this card before we end the show. Let's pivot over. It's official. It's done. Loma Lopez. Done deal. Now we ain't gotta talk about what Teo doing. Is he really trying to hold out for more money? Why should Loma? I don't give a damn if Loma gave him some of the check himself.
it's
Done
done.
deal. We got a fight going on. Very early though to be talking about it per se because we have so many great fights coming up. And hey, don't let us forget we gotta talk about David Benavidez and Angulo.
Yeah.
We gotta talk about that.
But listen, in the words of one of the immortal black poets and literary giants of our time,
Don't say Don King.
Mr. Richard Steele,
Oh,
since we can't get along, let's get it on.
Okay. I was hoping you won't quote Don King. Please don't quote Don King. Jeez.
Pops met Don King.
Don King is a G for people that don't really know.
Man,
Like,
I'm on the train. Got an autograph for me and everything.
Listen, don't let the crazy have fool you. Don King about that life.
Yeah.
He about
Literally.
that life. Yeah, literally. For real, for real.
He got out of prison and became a promoter.
I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, killing somebody. So,
Yeah.
Only in America.
Only in America.
But you took the fight to Zaire.
Yeah, the Kinshasa. Yeah. It's all good, man. So yeah, back to Teo and Loma. What you thinking early, man? What do you think about that fight stylistically? Where are you at with it? I mean, we haven't really done a lot of research on this, but we know both guys. We've watched both guys fight ad nauseum, and we've seen Teo in person. I've seen him in person 3 times. And we've met him, interviewed him, so on and so forth. So early on, what you see, bro?
It's easy to go with the old guard and say Loma will outclass him. But I like his energy. I like his energy. I like his fearlessness. I like his right hand. I do like his speed. I would like him to be a little more technical. I want to say quite a bit more technical without losing that fire that he has inside. He's going to have to be crisp, sharp, and have really good movement and not wasted energy in that fight. But I do believe that, I'm not even going to say if all the stars light up. I'm just going to say he has the ability to beat Vasyl Lomachenko.
I'm in agreement with you too. I'm gonna lean more towards Loma's decline versus Teo's growth, and that's gonna sound kind of funny, but here's why I'm saying this: Teo is gonna keep getting better, but when you get to an elite level, the amount of improvement is incremental. It's not substantial, right? So at the level that he is now, we're going to see his growth, but we're going to see it here, and it'll continue to kind of matriculate up.
Like Canelo.
Right. You're not going to see a big jump. Those days are over. So with that being said, I'm more concerned about Lomachenko tread. Those tires have a lot of tread on them. 400 plus amateur fights, 14, 15 pro fights. What is he? What is he? 15-1, 14-1, whatever
Something
he
like,
is
it
right
doesn't
now.
have
Yeah.
as many pro fights as you think. So
No,
yeah,
he doesn't. He doesn't. But all those years, 400 plus amateur fights. And if you watch Loma's last two fights, I don't know if he was fighting down to his competition or if he
Declined?
didn't look, huh?
declined.
I don't want to say it, bro, but he didn't look like the same one we saw 2 or 3 years ago. He just didn't. He didn't look quick. He didn't look as elusive. In spots, he did. His IQ and the angles at which he takes to throw punches. But when you're in there with a young kid like Teo, because the only thing that kid is going to respect is you punching him in his shit and hurting him and making him respect your power, with those young legs, I don't know if Loma is going to be able to avoid those punches the entire fight. Here's the difference between Teo and Jorge Linares and Jose Pedraza. All those guys, if I'm not mistaken, those are the two guys that put him down, right? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They don't punch like this kid. They don't punch nearly as hard as this kid. And once this kid, if this kid gets Loma on the ground, if he drops Loma or hurts Loma, he is going to be so aggressive. It's going to be overwhelming. So I don't know what this is going to look like, but I will tell you this. If Loma looks like how he looked in his past couple fights, this kid has a real shot at stopping him.
I believe he has a real shot at stopping him. And this is the classic. And I know I'm not using a term the way that they use it in boxing right now, but this is the classic king versus soldier, gatekeeper versus the guy coming up. And when I mean gatekeeper, I'm not talking about the guy who protects you from fighting for the title or you use to prove your.
No, he's protecting his.
Right.
Yeah.
He is. It's that classic, Ali Holmes.
What about this? Classic Matador versus Bull.
Matador versus Bull. Yes. But every time I think about this, I think back to Muhammad Ali versus Larry Holmes. Holmes had that championship medal. He was right there. But Ali was the gold standard. He wasn't undefeated, but Ali was still the gold standard, even though he was well past his prime. Now, I'm not saying Loma is there, but people like Loma and Triple G got this big blow up and they were given the gold standard. And now they want to keep it. Obviously, they don't just want to walk away and say, I have my run. Not many men want to do that. But now you got these young, hungry lions who have the ability to put you to sleep. But you're going to rely on this and what you have left in this. Does he have enough left? And I think that's the question you're asking.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see because I believe Loma, as much as I don't really care for Loma as much, but I do respect him. And like you said, just understanding the angles, understanding how to get the most out of the power you have left, how to conserve. Teofimo Lopez doesn't, at this point, he just knows one way, one direction. And that's straightforward. He can hit you from angles. He can knock you out. But you're going to have to push him mentally if you're going to stay in this fight. And if you can push Teo mentally with all the stuff he's been through, he's going to start asking questions within himself during the fight. And at that point, you can pick up around here, pick up around there. But I don't think you're going to knock this kid out. And I think you have to beat him smart, but you're not going to knock this kid out.
If this kid loses this fight on his back, it's because he will just be it's because he will mentally be so frustrated that he can't do anything that he'll just death by 1,000 cuts per se. Yeah. They'll just be like, all right, he just stop it. But I don't see that because this kid's a world-class fighter. Mm-hmm. This is a great fight, man. I'm excited for it. I'm glad it happened because we don't want Loma to get too old. We don't want him to age in front of our eyes, which I already think I've been seeing some slippage. I could be wrong. So this is a great fight, bro. I'm just glad that Top Rank and Dave and Uncle Bob and Tio and his people and Loma and his guys would make it happen. I don't want to get into what Loma decided to give to Teo because I can't see Loma giving Teo anything. But whatever the negotiations were to make the fight happen, I'm glad that it went down, and I'm glad we got a great fight coming up soon. So
What
kudos
date?
to Top Rank.
Today?
What was that?
Did they release the date?
I think they may have, but I know it was confirmed today.
Okay.
It was confirmed. So,
yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that's gonna be a good one.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a pizza night. That's gonna be a good one.
For sure.
It might be a vegan pizza, but it's gonna be good.
Hey, it's all good.
So I told listen, my daughter is gonna try the nugs tomorrow for lunch. That I was telling you I got.
Yeah, yesterday, right.
So that's gonna be hopefully Sunday I can give y'all an update on whether, because if it's kid tested and kid approved, then it's really
sound
good.
like kicks to me.
Yeah. That was
for
jump.
For those of y'all youngins that don't know about kicks, Google it.
There were 2 cereals that you can eat dry.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about Captain Crunch. I'm talking about Kicks and Corn Pops.
Listen, Pops was the ish. Listen, I just want to talk to these youngsters for a minute. You guys suck. You know that? You guys don't have any type of history. You ain't got no real experience. You guys are awful. Do they even know who Mikey is? Google Mikey.
They brought Mikey back, but they don't know who Mikey is. Because
they brought Mikey back?
Mike is in a commercial with a little girl that they call Mikey.
Really?
I think they call the little girl Mikey. They might not call her Mikey, but Mikey's in the commercial. Because remember, we thought Mikey died eating Pop Rocks and Coca-Cola. But Mikey didn't. That was a rumor. But yeah, Mikey's in a new commercial for their Life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
But man, listen, quick story. Pops. Yes, I'm gonna call you out on this. I wasn't allowed to have sugary cereals as a kid. I wasn't. My mom used to get me those rice puffs that look like black eyed peas and try to put honey on them. And you couldn't get the milk sweet enough, but I'd have to choke it down. Sometimes I could have Special K and I could have Raisin Bran and Rice Krispies.
No one wants that. That is awful.
But they were pretty good the way they would doctor them up. But still, that's all I could have, cereal. So we go to my uncle's house. I don't know why we were up there, but my dad, I know where I get it from. When he eats stuff late at night, he would just get up in the middle of the night and go into somebody's cabinet. So listen, he came out with a bowl of Corn Pops, no milk. He just sat there in front of me and ate them. And you could smell the sweetness on them. And I'm like, can I have one? And he used to get on me for asking for stuff. Can I have one? No. If I wanted you to have it, I'd have brought you a bowl. And his favorite Mr. T voice.
That's
I was 5.
Mad at that.
I couldn't beat that man. But if I could have, I'd have taken that bowl for it. It took me to get to my cousin's house to finally try him and go, I understand why he didn't share.
And judging by the looks, he did the right thing. Good job, Pops.
You know, it's amazing when you put anorexic people in the weight room. They want to talk about you, but that's okay. That's all right. Oh, all right. I mean, you may have been blessed with the muscles, but I was blessed with a personality, and I didn't go lacking through my college years, buddy. So I'm okay with that. I can cook and make them laugh.
I hear you. So listen, man, we got David Benavidez against Angulo Saturday on Showtime. I'm excited for this fight because I am a fan of David Benavidez, and I became a fan of him through my little brother Hammer because we were talking about. I'll never forget. We were in the car going to handle some business, and we were talking about the guys that were in and around his age, and he kept saying, man, no, David's my dude. I was like, is he that good? He was like, bro, he can fight. And I think it was that fight was before he fought what was the middleweight that Mayweather had? I think he was from Romania. I can't think of Buddy's name, but he was a solid fighter. I watched David Benavidez beat his ass. And I think at this time Benavidez was 20, 19, 20. I'm like, dude. And of course, he ended up winning the green strap, the WBC belt at 21 or 20.
20.
One of them.
Yeah.
It was right there. And and he was the reigning champion. Now keep in mind that no one beat him. He lost the belt because he popped dirty, doing some mess he shouldn't have been doing. So I'm a fan of this kid. He is focused. The Darrell fight, I think, put the world on notice because we know that the Darrells collectively are fighters. They come from a fighting family. They from that Flint, that Detroit soil, so ain't no quit in them. And the way he dispatched Anthony, I think the rest of the world needs to really pay attention.
You have been talking about David Benavidez. I'm like, okay. It was when I saw that Darrell fight, I was like, whoa. Seriously? Yeah. He's a problem. He's a real problem.
And listen, bro, that weight class is so dope.
Mm-hmm. He's 68, right?
Yeah. And everybody gunning for old Cinnamon.
Yeah.
And Cinnamon is the creme de la creme, right? He gets to call his own shots.
Ain't nobody want to call.
Anybody he wants.
He don't want to call nobody. That's the problem.
Yeah. Oh, he don't want to call nobody.
No.
Yeah. Well, you know what Cinnamon problem is? The same problem with Terrence Crawford. These guys want a gate. They want to fight in front of people.
Yeah.
You can't give Cinnamon $36 million and ain't nobody there. That's just a hard sell.
I don't think so. And here's why I tell you. All of Mexico will buy the fight. Third of America will buy the fight. They will buy a Canelo fight because they can't go there. And it's going to be cheaper for them to buy it than to go there. And they will party and they will have a great time and they will pay for a Canelo Alvarez fight, especially if he's fighting a Charlo or a Benavidez or he's
a Caleb Plant.
A Caleb Plant. Yeah, a Caleb Plant. But I think he would dispatch a Caleb Plant. I love Caleb Plant. I just don't think.
So disrespectful.
Whatever. I just don't think Caleb Plant belongs in the ring with Suleiman Canelo Alvarez. I just don't. And I love Caleb, and he wears his strap proudly, and he defends it proudly.
Yeah, fair play. But I mean, I understand the logic behind that. That's cool.
I believe like a Charlo, I would like to see Charlo fight him. I've called for it, but it's not going to be a walk in the park. I believe, honestly, the 60-40 that Canelo could beat Charlo just with his experience, his generalship, and his power.
I'll tell you one thing. Now, we are also fans of the Charlo brothers.
Yes.
I think they're great for boxing. I like their personality. We got a lot more to learn about Jermall Charlo.
Yeah.
We do. And I think Sergey Derevchenko is going to bring that out of him.
Yes.
This fight is going to be tougher than people are thinking it's going to be.
Yeah.
And man, listen, I think this can be I think that's going to be a close fight, man.
It will be.
Yeah. And we want to see Charlo get that shot against Canelo, but man, I'm gonna tell you something. Derevchenko ain't no Canelo, and neither was Matt Korobov. So we gonna see what Charlo got. We gonna see what Big Charlo do. We gonna see, because he better be ready. Because listen, you got the whole world watching. It's a pay-per-view fight. People are gonna be watching. This is your opportunity to show to the world, because remember, ain't no other fights going on. So all boxing is gonna be watching Showtime that night. Everybody, you got Top Rank, you got Matchroom, you got Golden Boy, whoever. Everybody's gonna be watching that fight, because people were disappointed when he fought Matt Korobov and they thought he lost that fight. Right? So, and we saw what Derevchenko did to Triple G. So we thought Derevchenko won that fight. Some people said it was close. Some people say he didn't do enough to win. It kind of edged Triple G, but they were very impressed what this kid did in the ring. He's being coached by Andre Rozier. He's getting a lot of good sparring in New York. We're gonna see. But Keep that date circle. September 26th, right?
Yes,
The week
sir.
after Lubin's fight. Yeah. So
Yes, sir.
I don't know.
And both of them fight that day. One earlier,
Yes,
one
the
later.
one didn't
Yes,
even. Yes, sir.
yes.
That is
This
correct.
is gonna be good. Listen, I don't know if I yes, I did. I'm dusting a story off. I'm dusting it off because after I told it, all of a sudden I see it going around on TikTok. 4 or 5 people are telling this same story on TikTok. It was after it debuted on this show. So
Give us our
yeah,
credit.
yes.
Give us our credit. We need credit for that, and we need credit for the OMF belt because we know somebody gonna
Exactly.
try to steal that and say they came with it. No, that was here first. You
And
heard it here
listen,
first.
this is why I don't use a lot of original material on here
Okay.
because I'll tell you I'll give credit for a joke. I will. Um, but I don't use a lot of original material for that reason. Because I see you take my I'll be like KRS1 did PM Dawn. I'll come to your club and get up on stage and take your mic. You tell,
PM Dawn.
you tell, hey,
All right.
KRS1 set him adrift.
Wow.
And
Okay.
then
Go
Ray
ahead.
Bliss.
I just had to say that. I had to say it for the people in the back that don't know who the hell PM Dawn is.
Oh wow.
Y'all Google that.
Yeah.
Y'all Google that.
Wow. Hey, y'all didn't know it, but Miss Vanessa at her wedding came down the aisle to PM Dawn. Shout out to Miss Vanessa.
You gotta chill, bro. You gotta relax. You gotta relax.
It was either PM Dawn or 12 gauge with Donkey Butt. I wasn't sure which one that he can't. What? It was one of those two. Um.
Go ahead with the story, bro. You tripping?
So yes, Lil Johnny was sitting in class. Now, mind you, people have had Lil Johnny first, second, third, fourth, fifth grade, but this is when Lil Johnny was in second grade, and the teacher was talking about objects, and the teacher said, "All right, I'm going to hold up these different objects that I have in my desk, and I'm gonna describe them first, and you guess what they are, and I'll tell you if you're right." So the class is like, "Okay, okay." So she says, "I have something orange and round and smooth." And Johnny threw his hand up first, and she said, "All right, Johnny, what is it?" Johnny said, "It's an orange." And she said, "No, it's an orange ball, but I like how you're thinking." So he said, "Okay." So she said, "I have something red and smooth and round." And he threw his hand up, and she said, "Okay, Johnny." He said, "It's a red ball." She said, "No, it's an apple, but I like the way you're thinking." So Johnny stood up and said, "Let me ask you a question." He reached his hand in his pocket and said, "I got something long and hard in my pocket. Can you guess what it is?" She said, "Johnny." He said, "It's a pencil, but I like the way you're thinking."
A kindergarten pencil to be exact.
Right. One of the ones we used to pencil fight with.
No. A kindergarten
I
pencil.
know the thick ones.
Yeah, the extremely large ones.
Yes.
That's what I would say if I was Johnny.
Yes. Right now, ladies, he's letting you know he's putting himself out there on Tinder.
Hey man, this is not, bro. You gotta relax, bro. That is not what this is about, man. You gotta chill, man.
Just saying. He's an extremely large pencil. Yeah, okay. He's advertising, ladies.
You gotta relax, bro. You gotta relax. NBA playoffs started. Do you care?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't have anything else to care about.
No
So by
college football
default,
stories.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
No, we don't care, bro. Listen. I told you, man. I quit the NBA 2 years ago and Kawhi left the Spurs. I really meant that.
Oh.
I'm still riding. I'm still holding on to that.
Wait. I'm about to order a Spurs jersey. As much now, I did tell you a while ago, I agree that the Spurs had a dynasty. I'm late to the party, but I started really listening a couple years ago, and I really am a fan of Greg Popovich.
Okay.
I started really looking into his background, what he's done for his players, how he stood up for his players. Yeah, he had the whole issue with the Kawhi thing, choosing the geriatric players over the young lion, but we all have one mistake in our life. But I really like his integrity, how he stands up for his players. He'll actually, speak out. and they were doing a thing on ESPN all freaking morning um, about Greg Popovich versus Jerry Jones.
Mm,
And they were talking about how, Jerry Jones, you hadn't heard anything from him in 9 months.
right.
And then now he releases a statement, which I'm not even going to go into the statement because it was, but how they said, well, Jerry has not changed. Jerry's still trying to appease his constituents. And it's like big deal. Jerry Jones is like that. You know how he feels. He's old money. I mean, he's from Arkansas. He's old money. He is the good old boy network. Players chose not to kneel due to his threats during when Colin Kaepernick started this. They could have band together, but they chose not to. I mean, Jerry was very outspoken about that. Where Greg Popovich said, I have a team full of African American young men. I can't begin to walk in their shoes, but I also can't tell them how they should represent themselves in a positive way and where to step. I have to support them in what they do as long as it doesn't reflect bad upon the team. And he said straight up, kneeling and protesting is not a bad reflection. It's standing up for what you truly believe in. And I'll support my players with that. Where Jerry Jones went the other way and said, you won't disrespect the flag, you won't kneel, you won't everything Trump told him to say. And for some reason, people were sitting around waiting for Jerry Jones to come back and say, oh, I apologize. I've had an epiphany. That's not how Jerry rolls.
Right.
So I do salute Greg Popovich because Greg Popovich didn't need somebody or need pressure for him to say, I support my players. I understand
Right.
the things that they're going through. I've never had to go through them, but I'm learning and I respect them and their issues that they have to deal with. Not the foolishness, but the issues.
Yeah.
So I respect Greg Popovich. And for that, I am going to buy a Spurs jersey.
Well, I appreciate love and shot. Oh, okay. I see you, Ness. Yeah, Ness up on it, man. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
She
It's
did,
interesting.
yes.
Yeah. Um,
Wow.
as a lifelong, I'm joking, not a lifelong Spurs fan.
Yes, he was.
Became a Spurs fan around '98 when Jordan retired. I was a Dave Robinson fan. I like the Casio watches. So
That
I
mine and
kind of
Joe.
I kind of was always like the Spurs back when they had Vinny Del Negro and Avery Johnson and Sean Elliott and Mario Elliott and all those guys. When they kept getting beat and drugged by the Rockets, I was still a Spurs fan, even though Jordan was my favorite team. I was a Bulls guy. But once I really started, once I jumped on the bandwagon fully when Jordan retired, it was always something about Popovich's candor that I always thought was great. And he did it in just very few words, not a whole lot.
He took after Tarkanian, right?
No, my man with the white hair was the coach of the Spurs. I think his last name was Hill. Remember he had the white hair?
Yeah, I just can't remember his name.
Yeah. But yeah, man, Pop has always had a way of just keeping a very honest and a very open outlook on things, and much to the chagrin of his counterparts. You know, he was always the first one to step out and have these conversations back when it wasn't popular. And the players love him. Like you see guys like LeBron and KD and all these guys, they gloat whenever it's Team USA basketball time or the Olympics. Mm-hmm. They love being around Pop. Pop and Mike Krzyzewski. They love those guys. You know, so you just not getting a taste of it, bro. But yeah, he's a pretty decent man.
I've watched him. I've followed him. I mean, I could never deny his coaching ability.
Yeah.
Never. And the systems he ran, and people bought into his systems. And he was adaptive. He reminded me of like the Bill Parcells of basketball. Because he was adaptive, but he won way more championships than Parcells.
Yeah, you're right on with that. The Spurs in the first half of their run were a slow, methodical, plodding team. Get the ball down to Duncan, draw a double, kick it out, hit the shot. In their last iteration, they were a run and gun team. They got 4 guys out there, and all of them can play point guard for the most part. The only guy that was slow was Duncan. And even then, he was so smart. He knew how to fit. And they just ran you off the court with ball movement. Those guys would pass the ball 8, 9 times before a shot went up. And it was always the easy shot, whether it was a backdoor layup or a wide open three. They kind of changed the game in that way. Golden State took it to another level, but they kind of set the mold for that rapid ball movement around, finding guys and taking quality 3-pointers.
That's
Spurs
the
were one of
funny
the first
thing.
ones to do that.
Because the Lakers kind of did that with Worthy and Green, and when Magic was dishing,
Yeah.
they may not have done 8 or 10 times passing the ball, but they had a lot of ball movement, and that's what made plotting defenses hard to keep up with them. That's why they were Showtime.
Yeah.
But yeah, I listen. I was not a David Robinson fan, even though I had a Sega game. It was like the only basketball game besides Double Dribble.
Double dribble.
But I wasn't a big David Robinson fan. I liked Tim Duncan at Wake Forest, and I still believe he got David Robinson that ring.
For sure.
He was the missing piece when they got that ring.
For sure.
And I don't think Tim will ever get the credit that he deserves because he wasn't as outspoken. He wasn't flamboyant. He didn't have the flashy game, but he did everything very, very well. And he has 5 rings to show for it.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that I think will get the credit because when people look at the greatness of all the guys that he came in the league with, he had a better career than all of them.
Yeah.
And I think what hurt him was Kobe Bryant passing. Because I think that Hall of Fame situation between him and Kobe would have been pretty dope to see. They were arch enemies forever. Yeah, they were arch enemies forever. No, Kobe was there first. Kobe came straight out of high school.
Right, but I thought he came in 98.
No, Kobe came in 96. Tim came in 99.
Right.
Yeah, they were close. Yeah, they were close. They were close, but yeah, Kobe had been there earlier. But yeah, man, that's it. Any shots you want to give, bro? We up against the clock.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to 2 beautiful women who joined us this evening. Miss Moneta McKinney-Young and Miss Jessica Ortiz. Oh, look, you got a fan. She said she agrees.
Hey, that's right.
Shout out to Mr. David Bowser. I call him King of the Ring, and he knows why. Tito, shout out to you. And shout out to Pops, man. I can't wait for this COVID thing to kind of die down. I need to go see him.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
He is taking birthday gifts. He's having what they call a Jameson party. So if any of y'all want to donate a bottle of Jameson to my pop's birthday party, get in touch with me at Got Brew on Instagram, and I will let you know. I'll give you my Cash App, and all the money coming in goes to Pop's Jameson party. So, I don't want him to get embalmed on his birthday, but I think he's going to head that way anyway. So, hey, I'm doing what I can. I'm sending him some, and if anybody else wants to get involved and send him some Jameson, that's what this party is about. Either that, or if you got a line on some Cuban cigars, he's looking for that too. This is not the Pops advertising hour, but it feels like it. Shout out to my wife, my daughter, my mom, my siblings, and the Red Belly. Shout out to the Red Belly.
Hey. Yeah, man, definitely.
He's not the Red Belly, but pointing to him.
Shouts out to the Red Belly, man. Listen, man, shout out to all the ignorant people out there. You keep us entertained.
Appreciate that,
Shout out
bro.
to Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion for the WAP video.
Stop.
Listen, I'm from old school Florida. There was nothing entertaining about that video. There was nothing that I thought was great about that video. I've seen better videos in the regular club. I've seen better videos at high school dance parties. But I will say this. Let these ladies have their moment. Because men have been doing it forever. Let them have their moment.
Listen. Anybody that has the courage to put on a song, I want you to hit that little dangly thing in the back of my throat.
Hey.
Give it a Grammy.
Hey.
Give it a Grammy.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's the way she did it with the intensity.
Yeah.
Like, park that Big Mac truck and this little garage. I mean,
and the fact that this guy knows the lyrics says enough. Shouts out to those ladies, man. Listen, keep doing y'all thing, man. Don't listen to the haters, these insecure men out here. Hey.
Oh, I don't But I tell you, my wife introduced me to that song.
Yeah, man, look. Ladies are human and ladies have feelings and they talk about things that we're not around. And guess what? Now we're privy to the conversations that they've been having long before now. Now it's just common. Now because of social media, it's out there. But ladies been talking like this. So don't get it twisted. Shouts out to everybody out there in the struggle, man. Checking on your people, tapping with your people, make sure they're okay. Sometimes it's a conversation, man. Just call and ask them if they're okay. It happens. You need that. Shouts out to all my entrepreneurs out there in the struggle. It ain't easy out there, but we're going to keep pushing because you never know, success could be right around the corner. Fight That Share Nation, we appreciate everybody for tuning in with us. We will see y'all Sunday at the Fight That Share Report at 7 p.m. Catch us on the Beatdown next Monday. You see it down at the bottom of the ticker. Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll holler at y'all. Fight That Share Nation. We out of here. Have a good night. Peace.